What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the latest channel, and today it is time for my F1 2020 driver predictions. Now, we've done before who I think will get in what seats later in the year. Today, we're talking standings. Who will win the championship? Can Hamilton take his 7th world title? Or is the likes of Bottas, Vettel or Verstappen going to steal his crown? It's time to get into it. There's a lot to talk about. Let's do it.
I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well.
So we're going to kick it off with Williams going in reverse championship order. Now 2019 and 2018 as well have been very, very bad years for the British works team, as for the past 2 seasons they have been back of the pack, and to be honest I can't see much changing. I put Nicholas Latifi dead last in 20th, meanwhile George Russell a little improvement. I reckon he'll finish 18th. Now Latifi, as the only newcomer in the season and in the worst car on the grid, I reckon will really struggle, whilst George, I reckon maybe Williams will close the gap to the main pack up a bit, because not many teams are doing too much development due to the current issues and the change in regulations, so I reckon he'll be a little bit closer and pick up a point or two across the season. Another team that had a poor 2019 was Haas. Now the American outfit, the only American side on the grid at the moment, really struggled in the latest season, with Grosjean finishing bottom of the grid other than the two Williams. Now, to be honest, I can't see 2020 being much better for either of their drivers. I predict that Grosjean will finish 1 place better in 17th, whilst Magnussen will finish 1 place above his teammate in 16th. Neither car will really be performing that well, and I think the big issue for them will be consistency. Neither of them tend to perform every single week, picking up a couple of points to have a few good races, and then tend to have a lot of nightmares, and I think it's going to be a similar result in the upcoming season. Now for a team that blows hot and cold, Alfa Romeo. Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect with this team. They've got Raikkonen, who's aging quickly, and you've got Giovinazzi, who really could go either way, and to be honest, I split them quite like that. I've put my faith in Kimi Raikkonen. I'm going to put him 12th, just like he finished this year in the championship. I think he's a top driver, but I think the car that he's driving really isn't up to the standards to push him much further than that. Maybe he can just finish 10th maybe, but 12th is what I expect. And Giovinazzi, sadly, I'm going to say it's going to be a poor year for him, especially in a shortened season. He's took a little while to get up to speed last year, and if it's the same this season, I've got him finishing 19th in the championship. Now for what's basically apparently the 2019 Mercedes car, we've got Racing Point. Now I'm a big fan of Racing Point. I'm a huge fan of Sergio Perez, but before we talk about him, we're going to talk about Lance Stroll. Now Lance, I'm not as critical as others of him, but I don't think he's a top driver. I think there are drivers that will finish in the championship above him, but I think his car will definitely help in the standings. I've got him finishing 15th. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz got it last year, but for Perez, he will get the Best of the Rest award for the 2nd time in his career, finishing 7th in the championship. And I reckon, for what I've heard about the quality of the Force India car and the lack of development due to the FIA changing in rules, he may be able to pick up a podium or two if results go his way. Toro Rosso, the Red Bull Junior team. What to expect from them? Now, their lineup is going to make things very interesting, with 2 former Red Bull drivers in both of their seats, something you rarely see at a junior team. It's going to be a strange year on the one hand. You have to look at it and say, the experience that they have is going to help them hugely, but in the same respect, with drivers like that who are basically fighting for their lives, it's going to be very much, if they don't perform, carnage could start to occur in the team. However, I have faith in Kvyat and Gasly. I think they're both really good drivers. You look at how Kvyat has returned to the sport and done well. You look at how Gasly has really performed since his return to Toro Rosso from Red Bull. And I'm putting them 13th and 14th in the championship. It's not a top finish, it's not top 10, but it is a consistent set of results. And I reckon Toro Rosso can probably bag a 7th place finish. Now, as we hit the halfway stage of the video, it is time for Renault. But before that, a quick service announcement. I'm trying to hit 100 subs before my 18th birthday on August the 8th. Yes, somehow this face is turning 18 in like 2 months' time. I can't work it out either, but make sure that you do go and subscribe. Tell your friends, and any help is hugely appreciated. But On with the video. Where were we? Renault. Now, they have an excellent driver lineup. Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo are both top drivers. But the question is, can the car bring them the results that they need? And I'm going to say maybe not quite. I've put Daniel finishing 9th in the championship, whilst Esteban Ocon will get his second top half finish, ending the season in 10th, which is pretty good for someone that's had a year out of the sport. However, I don't think they'll quite be the team that's coming up in just a second. And that team is McLaren in their striking orange cars. Can they become the best the rest team that joins the top 3? For 2020, I'm going to have to say no. Carlos Sainz, I've got in an 8th place finish. I reckon he'll dip a little bit since a high on 2019. However, I still think he is a top tier driver who will still be pulling out decent results. Meanwhile, Lando will have another strong season, building on last year's results in his second season, finishing a strong 11th in the championship. And then it's time for the big boys, and we start off with Red Bull. Now, Max Verstappen, can he win the championship in a shortened season in 2020? The answer for me is no. I've actually got him finishing as low as 4th place. I reckon it'll be very tight with the top 6. All drivers will be having a varied set of results, but I don't think he'll quite be able to win the championship this season. Meanwhile, for Alex Albon, I reckon it'll be a brilliant year for the tyre driver. 6th place will be where he finishes, but he'll be very close to that top 5 group, who I'm assuming you can guess who it is. And I reckon, unlike the likes of Gasly or Felipe Massa, who is a 6th place driver who have often performed poorly, he'll be right up there securing points, podiums, and maybe even a win or two if the opportunity arises. For our penultimate team is the Tifosi. It is Ferrari. Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. They've got a point to prove. Can they beat the Mercedes at last? It's now been 13 years since Ferrari last won the Drivers' Championship, and I can't see it happening this year either. Charles will finish 3rd in what will be a very good year for him, proving exactly why he will be the #1 driver at Maranello for years to come. Meanwhile, Sebastian, in his final season with the team, I reckon the pressure's going to get to him. Hit it here first. He's going to bottle it. He'll finish 5th in the championship, and I reckon he'll be a way off, to be honest. And that leaves 2. Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Both Mercedes drivers will finish the season on top of the championship. But who takes the driver's title? Now, Bottas has said he is in the form and fitness of his life. But to be fair, Lewis is no slouch. So that begs the question, who's winning the championship? And for me, I've got to put my money on the Brit. Lewis Hamilton would once again win his 7th driver's title. Bottas will put up a great fight, don't get me wrong. Bottas will put up the fight of his life and may even take it to the final day of the season. But Lewis is such a force to be reckoned with. I can't see him being beaten this year. Maybe next year teams will start to compete. For 2020, Lewis Hamilton will take his 7th Drivers' Championship, with Bottas in 2nd and Charles Leclerc in 3rd. Now, I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, as I said a second ago, we're trying to hit 100 subs before my 18th birthday, so make sure you leave your comments, go subscribe, give this a like. Let's hit 10, and peace!
This point you home, calling out from the east. Come